Shalom, Kohalal, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Pakwadash, double honors to the apostles and other bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders who came before them, that tell us is true. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers and in the word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful black tabernacle of David. The elder Yahshua, I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Iran just hit nuclear weapons storage silos in Turkey as NATO's air defense overpowered. Open-minded thinker. Okay, so crazy. Let's get before we watch a little bit of this, and it's really good. Let's get Ezekiel qualified Gomer. Okay, real quick. Shalakia. EZE 38. And here is Gomer. Where? G&T. Gomer. Turkey. Togarma, Syria. Persia, Iran. Okay. Turkey right here. Who are they joined unto? Persia, Ethiopia, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. Togarma, all his bands, and many people with who? Chief Prince. Russia. Land of Magog. So, there's Turkey. Now, right now, you got Persia hitting Turkey. But they're going to get over that. They're going to come together and do what they do. Because with they ain't against each other. They just having, this is just a little war going on right now. It's understandable. It'll be different tomorrow. See, people change their minds in midstream. Change horses. In war, even. But I'm pretty sure that you could see how the 10 toes are just completely unstable and about to make a move. But we know what Turkey's about to do. So now that we know that, when we go back and we watch this, where'd it go? That's not what I want. I want this. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, I think it's over here. No, it's not. Let's see. No, I don't have it. Let's see. Okay, I'll go here after Iran has news. What happened to this thing? Anyway, I'll get it right.
Hey, here's the scratch repair cream everyone's talking about. Look closely, no cuts, no Photoshop.
I hate when it does that. I'm sitting there clicking on the button. It won't do a damn thing. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for right here. Iran just hit nuclear weapons storage silos in Turkey. What? Nuclear weapons storage silos in Turkey? Iran? As NATO's air defenses overpowered. Okay, so right now Turkey's part of NATO, but Turkey's going to flip. Pursuant to the Holy
These
Scripture.
tankers are the lifeblood of the air campaign. Without them, Israeli and American jets can't reach their targets deep inside Iran. So, while the U.S. is using bases in Turkey, in Qatar, in the Gulf states to choke the life out of Iran, they have the audacity to cry foul when Iran finally decides to hit back at the source. The hypocrisy is staggering. So, what exactly happened in this strike? According to reports filtering through Iranian news agencies like Press TV and the Tehran Times, the focus wasn't just on random military hardware. It was surgical. It was intelligence-driven. The drones and missiles that got through, and make no mistake, some did get through the much vaunted NATO air defenses, went straight for the weapons storage areas. We're talking about the facilities that house those 50 U.S. B-61 nuclear bombs. Now let's be clear about the physics here. Conventional warheads cannot trigger a nuclear detonation. You can't hit a nuke with a missile and cause a mushroom cloud, despite what Hollywood tells you. These weapons are stored in vaults called WS3, protected by permissive action link codes. But the message here isn't about physics, it's about psychology. Iran just sent a message to every NATO capital. Your nuclear umbrella is not an umbrella, it is a target. They are telling the alliance that parking nukes on Turkey's southern flank, 300 miles from the Iranian border, doesn't deter Iran. It just puts those warheads in the danger zone. And you have to ask yourself, why does NATO store nuclear weapons in Turkey? It's part of a Cold War-era nuclear sharing agreement designed to deter the Soviets. Today, it's aimed at deterring Iran. But as we're seeing, it's actually acting as a massive target painted on Turkish soil. Now, the reaction from Ankara has been fascinating to watch, and if you're looking for a deep state actor who is playing 4D chess, look no further than Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan. This is a man with a history deeper than the Mariana Trench. Fidan used to be the head of the MIT, Turkey's national intelligence organization. He is known in diplomatic circles as being extremely close to the Iranians. So much so that Israeli officials have reportedly called him Tehran's man in Ankara.
Iranian President Mr. M. Masoud Pezeshkian's statement today fits perfectly into the context which we have mentioned. That is, the statement of, we will not attack a place that does not allow attacks, and we apologize for having attacked so far, is essentially the statement that we have been emphasizing. We spoke with our Iranian friends. We said that if this is a missile that veered off path, that's a different matter. But if there's going to be more of this, it may be a one-off. But if there's going to be more of this, and our advice to you is to be very careful.
Yeah, they're going to wind up on the same team.
Nobody in Iran should embark on such an adventure. Frankly, I discussed this issue with U.S. Secretary of State.
President Erdogan has to make angry statements to appease the nationalist crowd. But Fidan is on the phone with his Iranian counterpart. He's protesting, yes, but he's also negotiating. Turkey is in an impossible position. They are a NATO member with the second largest army in the alliance. They host American troops and American nukes. But they also border Iran. They buy Iranian gas. And they share a deep suspicion of Kurdish separatist movements with Tehran. The smart money says Turkey is not going to trigger Article 5 over this. They're going to do what they always do.
Getting hard and getting turned.
Stupid fucking commercial.
Always do.
And the hose
Condemn,
on-
consult, and then try to mediate. They don't want a war with their neighbor, and they certainly don't want to be the excuse that drags all of Europe into a nuclear-tinged confrontation. And now, day 13, hitting Incirlik. Do you see the strategy? Iran is not fighting a conventional war for territory. They are fighting a war of attrition designed to impose costs until the West cracks. Every drone they launch costs a few $1,000s. Every missile the U.S. fires to shoot it down costs millions. Every time a tanker gets harassed in the Gulf, insurance premiums skyrocket, and
That's called asymmetric warfare. The imbalance in the cost of munitions and things.
shipping grinds to a halt. Iran is playing the long game. They are betting that the American public, facing high gas prices and an endless war, will turn against this adventure long before the Iranian military runs up
Month and a half.
missiles. And the U.S. keeps falling into the trap. The USS Abraham Lincoln, Iran claims it caused severe damage to that carrier. The Pentagon denies it, but they always deny it. What they can't deny is the optics. They can't deny that their KC-135 is lying in pieces in the Iraqi desert. They can't deny that a French soldier has been killed, the first NATO combat death. They can't deny that air raid sirens are now sounding in Bahrain, in Qatar, in every Gulf state that hitched its wagon to the American star. So where does this leave us? NATO is in a crisis. Their spokeswoman, Alison Hart, is issuing statements condemning the targeting of Turkey.
Can you see that Turkey's linchpin right now? They're supposed to be blocking Russia, but right now they're blocking Iran and about to suffer because Iran is whooping ass right now and anybody who's in the way. So that's what's going to make them turn.
Their spokeswoman, Alison Hart, is issuing statements condemning the targeting of Turkey, but behind closed doors, there is chaos. Turkey is refusing to open its airspace fully for strikes on Iran, which is rendering the southern flank of the alliance useless.
And there it is. That's the beginning of the turn. All right.
The United States is begging for a ceasefire. We've heard Trump's envoys are scrambling. But Iran is in the driver's seat now. Why would they stop? They have exposed the vulnerability of the nuclear storage sites. They have shown that American bases are not sanctuaries. They have demonstrated that they can reach NATO territory and make the alliance think twice about escalating. The worst day hasn't come yet. Because if Iran decides to really turn the screws, if they start sinking tankers instead of just stopping them, if they launch the hypersonic missiles they've been holding in reserve, we are looking at a conflagration that makes the last 13 days look like a skirmish. For now, the world holds its breath. Turkey is trying to walk a tightrope. Iran is playing chess while the U.S. plays checkers. And the people of the region are the ones paying the price for this insane, unprovoked war of aggression started by the U.S. and Israel. Keep watching. Keep questioning the official narrative. And for goodness sake, prepare.
All right, so there it is. Iran is, this is what I want to do now. I typed this in. Iran has nuclear weapons. Iran has the bomb 1 day ago. Iran just announced a nuclear weapon. The world has 72 hours to respond. Look at this. Where do we go now? Can't nuke them. Right? So, and look, 1 day, will Israel use, well, they can't if it's a stalemate. Prediction. Iran will announce that they have nuclear weapons in 2 months. Well, they're doing it now. In 2 months, you're going to announce a nuclear weapon, or is this the same day? Day one, 1 day, 1 day, 7 hours. So somebody's wrong. 3 days. Netanyahu was, somebody said he was dead, Richie from Boston. Speculation. Allegedly. Could turn nuclear bombs. Turn to nuclear. So how quickly are the nukes coming? I would say February. All right, so how close is Iran to building it? And now they got them. Very little on it, but let's check this one out. Just announced. Looks like Dougie Doug there. Dougie Fresh.
This 16.
Yeah, right. I'm not looking at it.
That no living person has ever witnessed before? Stick around, because what happened next will blow your mind, right? What if I told you that at 6:17 this morning, a single announcement from Iran stopped every intelligence agency on the planet cold, and now the world has exactly 72 hours to decide whether we enter a phase of confrontation that no living person has ever witnessed before? Stick around, because what happened next will blow your mind. Right now, at this very moment, something unprecedented has unfolded. Iran's supreme leader, through the official Islamic Republic news agency, broadcast a message that has been considered a red line for decades by every major power in the world. Iran announced that it has successfully developed, tested, and now possesses an operational nuclear weapon. Not a program, not enriched uranium, a weapon. If you are captivated by this developing crisis and want to stay informed on the most consequential geopolitical events of our lifetime, smash that like button and let the world know you are paying attention.
Dougie says smash.
Every click helps keep critical
Smash up the
analysis
likes.
like this alive.
Smash up the likes.
The statement released simultaneously in Farsi, Arabic, and English described what Iranian officials called the final fruit of 40 years of scientific sacrifice. Within minutes, the Pentagon went into emergency session. The Israeli Prime Minister's office issued a one-line statement. The White House Situation Room was activated. And across the world, every government that had spent decades trying to prevent this exact moment suddenly found itself staring directly at it. This
got to be credible. Everything he's saying has to be credible. That is Dougie C. McGregor. He can't be up there confabulating and shucking and looking for views and shit. This motherfucker
is not a rumor. This is not an unverified social media claim.
Wars and rumors of war. This is not a wars and rumors of war. This is serious.
Room was activated. And across the world, every government that had spent decades trying to prevent this exact moment suddenly found itself staring directly at it. This is not a rumor. This is not an unverified social media claim. The announcement came through official Iranian state channels, was confirmed by 3 independent intelligence sources cited by the Associated Press within 90 minutes of the initial broadcast, and has already triggered a level 1 emergency response inside the National Security Council that has not been activated since September 11th, 2001. Now, before we go deeper into what Iran actually announced, what the intelligence community is saying behind closed doors, what Israel's military is reportedly preparing to do in the next 72 hours.
They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him with a nuke and start a nuke war. Israel can't help themselves. That's the devil.
And what this means for every single person watching this video right now, you need to understand something. The next 48 hours will determine whether the world enters a phase of confrontation that could reshape everything we know about global security. Let me show you exactly what happened. And more importantly, let me show you what the headlines are not telling you. Quick context. Iran's nuclear program has been the defining geopolitical crisis of the past 2 decades. The 2015 nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA, was supposed to freeze Iran's enrichment program in exchange for sanctions relief. The United States withdrew from that deal in 2018. Since then, Iran has systematically dismantled every restriction. By 2024, International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors reported that Iran had accumulated enough highly enriched uranium for multiple weapons. But there was always a gap between having the material and having an actual weapon. That gap, according to this morning's announcement, no longer exists. Now let me give you the timeline. Fast version. 14 months ago, Iran expelled the last remaining IAEA inspectors from its Fordo facility. 12 months ago, satellite imagery analyzed by the Middlebury Institute of International Studies showed unexplained construction activity at a site 60 kilometers southeast of Isfahan. 8 months ago, seismic monitoring stations in the region detected a small underground event that the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization logged as anomalous, consistent with a low-yield underground detonation, but not conclusively confirmed. 3 months ago, 2 senior Iranian nuclear scientists disappeared from public life without explanation. Then this morning, the announcement, that is the setup, now the documents, and this is where things get truly disturbing. I have been going through the International Atomic Energy Agency's most recent confidential report on Iran's nuclear activities. This is the report that was leaked to Reuters in January and that most coverage treated as a footnote. Let me show you what it actually says. Page 7 of the January 2026 IAEA Confidential Assessment. Quote, Iran's current stockpile of 60% enriched uranium combined with its documented centrifuge capacity at Fordo and Natanz provides sufficient material for a minimum of 4 devices if further enriched to weapons grade specifications. The agency cannot confirm that further enrichment has not occurred at undeclared facilities. End quote. That is not my interpretation. That is the IAEA's own language. But here is what got me. Page 19, a different section entirely. The report notes.
If you order today.
So good, Dougie. So good. Getting some info here. This is real. Come on, Doug.
Notes, quote, procurement records obtained through third-party intelligence sharing indicate that Iran acquired high-precision explosive lenses consistent with implosion-type nuclear device design between March and August 2025, end quote. Put those together, the material was there, the components for the trigger mechanism were acquired, and there was an unexplained seismic event at a location consistent with a test site, and now there is an official government announcement. I went through this 3 times, the pattern is clear, but stay with me because what nobody is covering changes everything. Page 31 of the same
so they're gonna try to drop something. But see, it's too early to go nuke. Too early to go nuclear. But if they did, it would be interesting as hell. Let's sit back and watch.
EA document buried in a technical annex. The inspector's note states, quote, Iran has recently demonstrated the capability to integrate a re-entry vehicle payload onto the Shahab-3 modified ballistic missile platform. The integration appears designed to accommodate a payload consistent with nuclear weapon dimensions and weight specifications. End quote. Read that again. That changes this completely. Not only does Iran now claim to have a weapon, according to the IAEA's own confidential assessment, Iran had already developed the delivery system to put that weapon on a missile capable of reaching Israel, U.S. bases across the Gulf, and parts of Eastern Europe. This is not a bomb sitting in a warehouse. This is, if the claims are accurate, a deployable nuclear capability on a ballistic missile. The fallout has already started. The UN Security Council called an emergency session within 90 minutes of the announcement. Israel's cabinet met an emergency session at 7 in the morning Eastern time. The Secretary of Defense was recalled from a NATO summit in Brussels, and the USS Harry S. Truman carrier strike group currently in the Eastern Mediterranean was ordered to hold position and await further instructions, all within 4 hours. Wait. Fast.
So they halted? They stopped? Hold on.
The Secretary of Defense was recalled from a NATO summit in Brussels, and the USS Harry S. Truman carrier strike group currently in the Eastern Mediterranean was ordered to hold position and await further instructions, all within 4 hours. That fast.
Wait.
Now I have to be fair here. The other specifications, end quote. Read that again. That changes this completely. Not only does Iran now claim to have a weapon, according to the IAEA's own confidential assessment, Iran had already developed the delivery system to put that weapon on a missile capable of reaching Israel, U.S. bases across the Gulf, and parts of Eastern Europe. This is not a bomb sitting in a warehouse. This is, if the claims are accurate, a deployable nuclear capability on a ballistic missile. The fallout has already started. The UN Security Council called an emergency session within 90 minutes of the announcement. Israel's cabinet met an emergency session at 7 in the morning Eastern time. The Secretary of Defense was recalled from a NATO summit in Brussels, and the USS Harry S. Truman carrier strike group currently in the Eastern Mediterranean was ordered to hold position and await further instructions, all within 4 hours. That fast. Now I have to be fair here. The other side has a point, several points actually. Iranian state media has made dramatic claims before that did not hold up. In 2023, Iranian officials claimed to have tested a hypersonic missile capable of evading all U.S. defenses.
This motherfucker sit there and say all this shit and then turn it around. Come on, Doug. For views?
And an analysis casts significant doubt on those claims. A pattern of overstatement exists. That matters. Second, the political timing here is worth examining. The announcement came 48 hours after the United States Senate voted to approve a new round of crippling sanctions specifically targeting Iran's oil export revenue. Some analysts argue this is Iran's signaling capability rather than confirming it, designed to create maximum deterrence pressure at a moment when they are economically vulnerable. Third, seismic verification of the alleged test is not conclusive. The CTBTO's event log shows an anomalous reading, but their official statement says, quote, the event cannot be definitively attributed to a nuclear test based on current data, end quote. That is a critical caveat. General Jack Keane, former Army Vice Chief of Staff, put it directly this morning, quote, Iran has incentive to overstate its capability right now. I want to see independent verification before we treat this as confirmed, end quote. Do not dismiss that. He is right to demand verification. What the skeptics have going for them is significant. No independent confirmation of the test.
Things been going wrong for Esau lately. I wouldn't chance it. But anyway, what we do know, as far as diligently measuring the time, right, and prophecy, uh, it's too early. Okay, things like a draft has to happen. Okay, now the reason how do you get a draft when you're already blowing nukes? No, draft uh, ground troops, right? Then the stalemate after the ground troops all get killed, that's when they go to nukes. Does that make sense in a nutshell? All right, so on this, what did we just hear? Iran just announced a nuclear weapon. So what are they doing? They're saying, not that they are, but they're saying, what are they saying? I'm strong, nigga. Joel 3:10. Joel 3:10. Okay, now let's see what they claim to have done. Or this is the order going out from Joel. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look. Beat your plowshares into swords, into nuclear warheads, right? Into ICBMs or whatever. Shahad. Beat your your gardening tools into nuclear weapons and into delivery systems, right? Uh, ballistic missiles is what he was saying. How far can they go? Well, they're working on one to do whatever they want to do, right? Let the weak say, I am strong. You know what they're doing? That's perfectly outlining. That precept perfectly outlines the situation. I believe it's true.
Iranian credibility record on weapons claims is mixed. The political incentive to bluff at this moment is real. And
what's the difference between bluffing and lying? See, because America does both at full capacity. Whereas Iran, they might, they pulled a little Babylonian move with the planes drawn on the ground and getting them to fire on illusions and things like that. That from the Babylonian playbook of World War II, so they say, allegedly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let the weak say I'm strong. If they have a nuke, they're definitely stronger, and it will halt, should halt these devils being so goddamn hasty. Because there's still a lot that has to transpire in between now and doomsday, if you will. So we'll end it right here. It's very interesting. He set it up really good. Got the library back there, and it's a green screen. Anyway, with that, we pray that the elect ratified you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.